Hey yo friends, super welcome to this video and thank you so much for clicking on it. Guys, today we're reviewing the new survival horror game called The Chant. Let's do this. So guys, with the horror genre going through a sudden but welcome revival, a bang average title isn't really going to cut it anymore, as the Callisto Protocol and Dead Space loom in the horizon. Unfortunately, The Chant is exactly that. It's an okay game, but it's going to be forgotten about just as quickly as it comes. Sit down, relax, and let me explain exactly why. The Chant is a third-person title about fighting psychedelic threats rather than hiding from them, which in all honesty is a welcome touch. I'm sick of hiding and running from enemies in horror games. I mean, you can kill them and they can still be scary as fucking hell itself. However, protagonist Jess has decided to take a spiritual retreat that manages to go sideways very quick. The game leaves absolutely no room for suspense to build, immediately thrusting you into a fight against another dimension after a ritual goes wrong. With beautiful graphics, the game funnels you through very pretty, linear locations, fighting monsters and solving puzzles as you go. The combat system actually feels pretty good. It feels a little clunky, but I think it's meant to be that way. You are not playing as Kratos, the god of war in this game. You are actually playing as an ordinary human with not much fighting experience. You can even see this in the dodge animations, as sometimes when you dodge, your character will slip and fall. But it's all done really well in a fashion that does not get frustrating. And to add upon this, some of the powers you get are pretty cool, but you can only use them so much. Their use is governed by a meter that you never really feel is quite full enough. Seriously game, don't do this to me. Let me enjoy the cool powers that you have developed in this game. Don't limit them as much as you have done. Darn it. When it comes to the puzzle side of things, because every horror game needs to have some puzzles, we all know that. There are one or two neat puzzles in between encounters, but unfortunately they never go far enough to actually be impressive. And when it comes to the storytelling, they really went down the note path. What I mean with that is that a lot of the core elements of the story is told through super long notes. And if you know me by now, I don't mind shorter notes that add something to the story, but I absolutely despise long notes where you have to read through the whole thing to actually understand the story of the game. What happens when a game does this is a frustration just builds up, where I start to think that if I wanted to read a book, I would have done that. Now, I'm here to just play a game. However, the story in itself is okay. It's not bad, but it's not super good either, just like the rest of the game. That is not, however, to say that sometimes I really did enjoy the 5 to 6 hour long game. Particularly when inspecting the graphics, because they are, as I said, gorgeous. The first time encounters with the enemies were also very enjoyable, as they are very well made with unique designs to them. And it is important to recognize that this isn't a AAA game. Even though the graphics are better than some AAA games, the overall pace of the game, the size of it, and mostly everything in between feels very AA. I should also mention that the game felt very optimized. I had no hiccups or frame rate issues whatsoever. The whole experience was smooth as butter. And the game is running on the beautiful Unreal Engine 4. So my final verdict on this, guys, it is a frustratingly average title that does nothing particular well, nor insultingly bad. I can definitely see the spark in the game, but it never really shines through. I would recommend getting this title, especially if you are leaning more into the old school Resident Evil type of games. I can tell that the game takes a lot of inspiration from that, without being a complete rip-off. But if slow pace, puzzle solving and clunky combat is not your jam, then this game will definitely not be for you. Before you buy this game though, don't miss these awesome videos.